Hey, Podnutzians, welcome to Android App Addicts episode 123. This show is brought to you by Chad Baker. I want to say thank you very much to Chad Baker. If you would like to help support this show, it's very easy. Patreon.com/the mini PC show. Link will be in the notes. This week I am joined by 8-bit, uh, 8-bit Brett. How's everything going, man?
It's going pretty good. How about you? Well, actually, yeah. How are you doing? You always take the last shot, so I'll let you go first this time.
I'm just in pain. I got now 10 days, I want to say 10, maybe 11 days left. Then I'm going to have my surgery on my forearm. Um, Even if worst case scenario is I die during the surgery because there's always risk, just like driving to the store. But worst case normal scenario, I just won't be able to pick up something above a cup of coffee for like a couple weeks with my left hand. So
Oh, that's
hope
not that for only a couple weeks though.
maybe less than that is what they're hoping.
Oh, that's good. That's good to hear.
Yeah, so hopefully that's like the worst of it. Except for that, just churning through the days, taking naps when applicable. It seems like at least when I sleep, I don't feel pain, so I like naps.
Yeah, naps are good. I've been dealing with a lot of sleeping stuff myself, but that might be a story for another day until I find out what's going on.
Gotcha. You have anything new in the mini PC, Raspberry Pi type world?
Um, I've been messing around with my ESP32s and the Raspberry Pis. Um, I actually have been messing around a lot with Home Assistant still. It is way more than anyone needs, but it's everything is so there's so much to it that anyone can do anything, and the normal person like me can do anything they want. You know, so far I have a a few of my lights all automated. I have a door lock on my RV that is I'm not quite finished with it, but I have a door lock on my RV that uses a self-powered ESP32 and a capacitive fingerprint sensor like on some of the older cell phones. Well, not I don't want to say older, but pre on-screen um, on-screen fingerprint readers. So basically, it's a um, something went up with the stream, but basically it's a oh, there we go. Okay, so I forgot what I was saying now. Oh yeah, fingerprint reader. So I have this fingerprint reader that when I put my fingerprint on it, it unlocks my door. But let's say it doesn't recognize it. Um, then it will ring the doorbell on the inside of the RV, take a picture with a little ESP camera, and then send it to me if I'm not in the vicinity. If I'm in the RV, it'll send it via LAN, but if I'm outside of the RV, it'll send it via text message. So if someone's at my front door and I'm in a store, I can then mess around with that and you know, kind of tell them back off.
Well, that definitely doesn't sound simple to do. I mean, I'm going to guess Home Assistant helps with some of the heavy lifting.
ESP Home is something that was just bought by Home Assistant. ESP Home is basically a less coding version of the ESP32, and it works directly with Home Assistant. That's been mainly what I've been using. And yes, it's not simple. It's becoming more than I would like to admit. Um, but it is going to be really neat because I can also use a different fingerprint like a different finger to have it do something else. So like if the one fingerprint locks it, the other one unlocks it, or one sets off an alarm, or all this random stuff. But I love the idea of having a fingerprint sensor on my door, just because I'm a dork.
Well, it's cool, definitely cool. And I will say the thing that I am impressed with when I look at the ESP, it's the ecosystem, because the hardware is just the hardware. I like how it's low priced, but it at least has what I consider to be a fairly active ecosystem.
Yeah, it's yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just wondering with the Raspberry Pi Pico, how it's going to spin up quick with the amount of people doing stuff with that one. But the question is, I don't know if it's going to actually pull people away from ESP or not. I do think it will bring in completely new people.
I agree. So I haven't done much research on the Pico yet. I think there's a Wi-Fi shield for it. I don't think it has Wi-Fi built into it, right?
I don't think it does now.
Yeah, so I remember seeing something about a Wi-Fi shield, but the Pico it's a good device, and it's already, like you said, it's spinning up quick. A lot of people are already jumping into the options. There's a lot more um, there's a lot more programming languages that you can use with it. If I remember right, the way it's not just a Arduino based system. You can do Python, and there was, what else was it? There was I forgot what else, but I was talking to a guy about it, and he said there's so much you can do on it.
Yeah, I want to say you can do a version of C plus, I think, the micro Python, and there was still something else you could do with it. And just a little quick tangent, which is a stupid tangent. Microsoft is releasing a tool. Can't remember what it's called now. It's going to integrate with VS Code and Visual Studio Code, where it's going to try to it's going to be like an inline they call it like an inline AI helper that when you're writing code, it will intelligently suggest how to complete what you're typing. The beta testers who have used it in regards with Python and C# said it definitely sped up their coding process. It's just one of those things. I like when Microsoft comes out with those kinds of things, because then it puts like a flagpole up telling the open source world, yeah, step up or you're going to get left behind.
Yeah, no, I'll agree with that. The that sounds really interesting. That sounds really nice, especially for someone like me that is very not a very good coder, and not a very I'm not well versed in anything other than Arduino, and even then, I can edit code, but having something that would help me, it would almost be like a tutor, it'd be nice.
Yeah, it's called GitHub. Oh, it just said it. Opening it to whether it generates its own code. What's been in the search results? Copilot, sorry. It's called Copilot.
Oh, okay.
Long and the short of it is, another tangent. There's two main solutions out there on the horizon that is literally trying its best to change how everything is done in computing. There's no code solutions and there's low code solutions. This has the power to take even something low code and make it even simpler to use, and it has the ability to take high code environments and literally make them much easier, much closer to something I would consider to be low code. So this is the kind of thing I love, lowering the barrier of entry for just one reason. It enables people with passion the ability to get things done without having to spend 10,000 hours devoted to
Yeah.
figuring something out.
Well, that's like me. That's I really like all this, but it's the learning the coding has always been my, for some reason I've never been able to actually sit down and learn how to code legitimately, and it's frustrating. That and PCB boards, those are my two kryptonites. Actual, like, real hardcore coding and making my own PCBs.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, I don't want to say this is going to be like Star Trek: The Next Generation, but I do think we are going to get to a point to where uh we're only going to have to know basic things in order to get really complicated things done. Um
Yeah.
Granted, we are going to still have to have like the high-end coders in the back developing these kinds of things, but I don't want to say we're not going to need as many of them, but to accomplish great things, I don't think we will need as many of them.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. I've been slowly seeing how things just change from, hey, in order to do this, you need to, code it yourself, to, libraries, to just different things that make it easier and easier, little plugins, little this, little that, and then the AI assistant thingy is just the next step, and it makes sense because um, if a machine can know what you want, it's kind of scary that it can make it happen, but at the same time, it's like it's nice for good things.
Yeah. I want to take one other quick tangent really quick. It's only because I was actually impressed on modern distributions, whether it is Windows or it is Linux, you get pop-ups after boot, typically shortly after boot, telling you there's a system-wide upgrade or there's some kind of update that you have to do in order to stay current. Um, the other day, I want to say yesterday, when I launched up Twister OS, I literally had a little pop-up window, and it's called Twister Twister OS Patcher, which I don't think is a great name, but who am I to say? But it popped up and said there's a update available. I missed it before it went away, so I had to go up to the corner, go to the main menu, go down to system, and say Twister OS Patcher. Click that, and it literally did like a normal, in air quotes, system update, and then it was done and asked me to reboot, and it worked just seamlessly, flawlessly, fine is the way I'll put it. I I don't want to say this is the most mature desktop-like operating system I've witnessed on a Raspberry Pi.
I mean, for what I've used, it kind of is, but I don't know, maybe I'm forgetting about something, but I love Twister OS. It's super stable, and I didn't even know about the patcher.
Well, it's heavy where it can be heavy. It's light where it needs to be light. Um, it tries to be easy. I'll give it that. Like to install almost anything, whether it is the Android screen duplicator, whether it be Vulkan backend, whether it be RetroPie, everything seems like it's less than 2 clicks away. Even if you want to install VS Code or VS Codium, it gives you the options for all those kinds of things, and it's very few clicks away, is what I'll say.
Yeah, I've been uh, I've been on and off for Twister OS ever since, I think it's been a while. I've been using it, but it's always been just, it works the way it needs to. Um, and speaking of little updates, well, not little. I'm actually I'm sorry to say I'm a Windows user. I wish I could do Linux, but I'm too lazy to find everything that works better on Linux than on a Windows machine. You know, but I actually upgraded to Windows 11 on the dev channel. Um, I guess there was a leak of an ISO about a week or so ago, and then they came out and brought up an actual dev version of it that was in the Windows Insider. And like you said, the upgrade, I upgraded without my power plugged in, and started at 70%. It upgraded. Oh no, I started at 85% on one of my laptops. Upgraded, no problems. All the drivers pulled in, all the everything worked, and I was at 63% when I was done installing. And it's a good upgrade, but it's just crazy how seamless the upgrade was. I've never wanted to do anything other than a fresh install because upgrades usually, especially from just distribution upgrade or OS upgrades, it's usually easier to install the brand new version of it from scratch, nuke and pave, rather than upgrading. But no, this was pretty good.
Well, with every version of it, it seems like every operating system, the base requirements become simpler and less. The install wizard, or actually the backbone of how the installations happen, become much more efficient as well. I mean, quite literally, installing Windows 95 off of floppy drives took like an hour and a half. And then they finally figured out how to properly use media, and then they decided back in Windows 10 days to basically use a disk image and intelligently put the disk image right overlapping files that it could safely overwrite. I will say I don't have a single piece of hardware in my house except for my work computer that can support Windows 11. I'll just say if you take a look at the actual screens and file systems and stuff like that, literally almost nothing has changed in Windows since 95 except for a flatter look and more white space. They're more friendly towards high DPI is really the biggest difference in the whole thing. And a lot of people say how they're trying to look like Mac OS X. And,
oh, definitely.
Well, I understand why they say that. It's because they don't remember OpenBox from like 98.
I don't even know what OpenBox is. What is you explain?
It's just an extremely old Linux desktop environment. And to me, when I saw it, I saw an extremely flat, no like drop shadow thing on the desktop with a very crappy looking bare dock where there's no even edges on the dock. It goes straight to the edges for some stupid reason. And it just looked flat, and it looked like something that I would run on Linux back in like 98 or 2000.
Yeah, I can definitely see the whole centerization. I actually had a buddy that I was hanging out with while we were upgrading. It was a total nerd night, and we are just talking computers and upgrading Windows at the same time. And one of the things that bothered him the most, and it bothers me now, is the fact, like you said, it goes all the way across. It's not a real dock. It's not a real, it should have space, even if it's just a different color. It should have space between. It should have, something in between that makes it look neater. Right now it's just a centered Windows 10. It looks cleaner. They brought back Windows 7 widgets, which you can't put on the desktop for some reason yet, which bothers me a lot. But yeah, so I'm running it on one of my new laptops, and I have it running 3 screens. Everything on it seems to be nice. I have a couple games that I played on it. I guess if you upgrade it, it gives you Xbox Pass for like 3 months for $1, the Ultimate or whatever. So it's really nice. So I got a few games free, and but yeah, it's different, but it's still Windows. It's still always going to be, Windows, which I really. I see. Well, I also heard that they're that they're building a kernel based on an Android kernel for it that will let the Amazon Web Store come in, which then 20 minutes later the Google Play Store will be on it.
Well, they killed Windows 10X, which was supposed to be their Chromebook in air quote competitor.
Yeah.
Which was the Neo or the Duo. I want to say the Duo was the phone, the Neo was the Chromebook. So the Neo's dead, Windows 10X is dead, and they're bringing the Android base over to normal Windows 11. It's still only in the developer channel. It isn't. So expect things to change on it. And when the Android ecosystem is on it, it's going to be via the Amazon App Store. I will expect somebody in split seconds after it launches give you a standalone one-click bang. Now you have Google Play on it.
Yep.
Most people, I will say this, will be upset because they're going to have to rebuy their apps over again if they stick with the Amazon App Store. What I like about it is right now developers really only focus on Google Play. They put stuff on Amazon App Store, on F-Droid, on the Huawei store, on all these other stores just to have their bases covered, but they're always lagging behind in version numbers. I would like developers become a little bit more responsible and keep up on their versions on more than just one platform.
Yeah, that would be nice. That would be nice to be, well, like you said, it's going to be a one-click thing that, you're going to have Google Play, and then, Google's going to try to stop it, but, it's just, I think they'll try to stop it just because it's, it's a lot bigger than just putting Google Play on a Fire tablet,
Well, we already have the Windows subsystem on Linux, which is basically the Linux kernel running inside of Windows. Which I didn't hear anything about when it comes to Windows 11. I'm pretty sure it's still going to be there. What it also wouldn't shock me if somebody says, look, instead of trying to take over this thing in Windows 11, how about we make a specific Windows subsystem for Linux, which is named incredibly horribly, and then see if we can put it on that way. Sorry, the home mini wouldn't shut up.
Wait, you have a
Yes, it's on its own network, and every now and then I say play Weird Al Yankovic when I want background music.
I would expect nothing less from you, Dor.
But because here's the thing: if they try to break the Amazon App Store on Windows with a one-clickable app, the truth is every month or every X number of months, an update's going to come down and break it. And most people, I don't think, will put up with that. I think they'll get sick and tired and they'll say, fine, I'll just use the Amazon App Store, and then they'll just complain about it.
Yeah, I can't see people really, I don't, like you said, putting it up on the Amazon store. It's always been a third or fourth option. Well, maybe a second option. I don't know anything else other than Google Play, but yeah, then F-Droid and stuff like that. But yeah, it's just, and then I found out that I'm actually trying to set up an Android on my o-droid C2. I don't know if it'll actually work. I've been messing around with putting Android on the computer at the edge of my bed, which is, a one that I built in. I cut a hole in the wall, put a touchscreen in there, and then I have a fold down keyboard. But it runs off my Surface Pro 4, which has a bad touchscreen, so it makes a good computer. I'd like to put an Android on it, mainly because then I can look at all my cameras a little bit easier, and I can use one of my favorite Android apps of all time, which is called iQuarium. It is basically a virtual fish that isn't it looks like a real fish. Like, let's just put it that way. And it's been around for like 10 years. I'll post a link to it. It's really fun, but it's fun for the cat too, because she likes to paw it, and she doesn't have, she can't get to it, but she can paw at it all she wants.
Gotcha. I will say typically o-droid is good about having alternate, in air quotes, operating systems, their devices. If you just go to
there is an Android.
There.
Yeah, there is an Android version actually for the C2. I just don't know how old this C2 is and how I think it may be a quad core. I don't even know. I'll have to look it up, but I don't know if it'll be able to handle much of Android. Any decent.
Well, I'll say that was my main home theater PC in air quotes for like 2 years. So what I'll say is it's stable. We're up to Android 12. It looks like the newest version is 6, so it's not new. I do believe it was like one clickable to get Google Play installed on it, and it will not support like Netflix 4K or YouTube 4K, but everything else in air quotes should work fine, is what I'll say.
Yeah. I have a question about the home theater stuff. What about using a Pi 4 as a home theater? I mean, I know it's being done a lot, but what do you think about it?
I definitely think it can work. Whenever someone wants to do a home theater, the first thing I always ask them is what type of content do you want to use? Some people only care about Crunchyroll. You know what I mean? Some people only care about Netflix. Some people only care about pirating overseas streams. Some people only care about ripping and burning DVDs and massing massive collections.
Like my 18 terabytes?
Yeah. Well, what I'll say is the Raspberry Pi can handle virtually all of them. Um, uh, when it comes to streaming, I don't like the built-in Wi-Fi. If you can Ethernet it, you'll be much more happy. If you can't Ethernet it, I definitely encourage you to get a high-end Wi-Fi dongle that supports literally something like Wi-Fi 6 and have a router and a network that can support Wi-Fi 6. And then it almost doesn't matter what you're streaming, whether it's something pirated from overseas or whether it's something from your local server, you will have near zero issues, is what I'll say.
Yeah, because I have a Roku right now, one of the good ones, but it's just my thought is either getting a Shield or a Shield TV, but that's pretty expensive, or making my own. But the good thing about the Shield is you get full Android, and the Android assistant and all that fun stuff. But I don't know. It's been a thought of mine because I'm gonna set up my Plex again, my Plex server to have all my media and stuff. But then I also got to figure out how to spin them down as soon as the engine starts. Spin down the hard drives because the hard drives won't survive long driving down the road.
Oh yeah, even if you're in a Rolls Royce Silver Shadow or whatever, it ain't gonna last long. I say that because I watched a video where a guy put a coin on the engine block standing up, and then he went in and revved the engine, and the coin didn't move.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, it was crazy. It's hard to beat a Shield TV, period. And I say that when I'm the guy who doesn't like to spend a lot of money, but if I had to have a completely painless home theater experience that could do almost anything I wanted it to do, it's difficult to beat a Shield.
Yeah. And I think that's where my thought's been going is just biting the bullet and getting a Shield or the Shield Mini. I probably would get the Shield because it's not that big of a price difference and it's just a good system.
Well, I'll say depending on what you want to stream, further down in the notes, I am blind as a bat. Ah, there it is.
I actually have that.
$4.96. Yeah.
Yeah.
Walmart. Now, the long and the short of it is, ETA Prime is a guy who I trust when it comes to looking at these kinds of pieces of hardware.
I do too. He's very good.
Well, he'll put it through its paces, and if it sucks, he'll tell you very point blank it sucks. If it's just you and you don't need to have 4K, and you have basic needs of just YouTube or just your Plex server, it's going to be really difficult to beat this super cheap $25 dongle, because for a Raspberry Pi, you're going to spend at least twice as much.
Yeah.
At least twice as much,
Oh
because
yeah.
you're going to need the hardware, you're going to need a cooler, you might need a case, you might need a power supply, you might need a video cable, then you might need a remote, and then you might need a dongle. So right now,
Well, the remote is the biggest issue for me, is because I have a very, I don't know I don't like the Google Chromecast remote. The new one with Android TV, I do not like that one. This one actually fits pretty well in my hand, because I have this one, only the $30 one, the brick. I found it. I saw it. It was at Walmart, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try it. And it is very good. It's just, I'm exploring everything I can.
Yeah, ETA Prime said basically for $5 more, I want to say it's $5, maybe $7 more. If you have to have higher quality, if you have to have something with a snappier interface, go for the higher end one. So what I'll say is, if you really want to not think about it and just have it work, and even have stuff like voice search built in and blah 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 blah, then go to Walmart and get like the $30 TV dongle if you're okay with low end stuff. Because here's the truth: my eyes suck. I am perfectly okay if I never see anything in 4K in the rest of my life, because I don't think I'll be able to identify if it's in 4K.
Yeah. No, I know the feeling.
Yeah, so I thought that was a pretty good video.
Yeah, I'll have to look that one up, because I haven't been watching his stuff lately, because his videos tend to make me want to go buy things. Because they're all things that I would want. But yeah, I trust him, and he has, all kinds of, paces that he runs everything through. If I remember right, he did a lot of work on the coolers, like the Ice Tower, the one, whatever the aluminum one that I have, and the Ice Tower I just got because of you, Adore. And that Ice Tower is beautiful.
Yeah, and they have the normal ice tower, then they have the low profile ice tower. Both of them keep the process from going above like 35 degrees, I want to say, which is kind of insane.
Yeah.
And it wasn't ETA Prime that then posted this one. I can't remember who it was now, but it's in our group chat we have. It's WOR, Windows on Raspberry Pi. I'm sorry, Windows on Raspberry, and it's at worproject.ml is what it looks like. The guy openly admits this doesn't run great, this doesn't run perfect, this doesn't run like, fantastic. But if you need a system that's disconnected from your main system that is running genuine Windows on it, this will enable it to do it. I will say I was shocked at how the browser was running fine. Granted, it was only one tab. I know in my Chromebook experience, when you start to go above 3 or 4 tabs, you definitely start to notice a difference. But if you can keep your browsing to a single tab, it was shockingly good how well Windows can run on this. And I'm pretty sure they only have it up to Windows 10, but they claim that they can run on a Raspberry Pi 2, a 3, or a Raspberry Pi 4, which I will say, if you can get it on 2, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, that is pretty impressive. Yeah, I may have to look into that, because it's fun to check, fun to mess with things. And if I remember right, there's also an Android now on Raspberry Pi, right? There's an Android version, like a non-official, but an Android nonetheless.
There is an Android. It isn't official, and it's because it can't be official because of the closed proprietary nature of the GPU. I've heard very mixed results with it, is what I'll say. Most of the time, I'll say RK3399 boards fare a little bit better in their scoring when it comes to Android than that Raspberry Pi build. But if you have Raspberry Pi sitting around, it's hard to beat it.
Yeah. Looking at number 486, the Wise Home Monitoring. It is really good. I have it. I was one of the first people to get it. I was a beta tester for it. I forgot to mention it to anyone really, but I have it for my motorhome, and it works really good for what it is. Only problem was they never sent me an activation code in my email until I had to get after them about it, and they sent it through a chat, and it was because it was so early. But as far as setting it up, what they don't tell you about it, which I don't think it's in there, is that the hub has the main hub has a built-in battery. So you keep it plugged in normally, but if your power goes out, it will stay on for a few days. I noticed that because I unplugged it and I saw the lights going on. I was like, oh, it must be a capacitor still running the lights or something. But no, it was still connected to the internet. It was still connected to everything, which is good for me mainly because when my if my inverter doesn't kick in right away, which it always does, it'll stay on. But I haven't set it up far enough for them to really monitor my home. I have mainly all my stuff monitoring myself, but disconnected from their home monitoring system, or disconnected from their 911 stuff. So Wise is great. Only thing I do wish is that they would allow me to put my Wise cameras in with my Home Assistant and be able to monitor them all the time. For those, I have EU Eufy cameras, which are actually 2K and like $29. I'll post a link to them right now. They're really good, and they come with the RTSP protocol built into it.
Gotcha. I will say I have mixed feelings about Wise as a company, only because I'm old and I remember some of their products back in, like, I guess now it was 2008, maybe 2006, and they tried to compete with big guys like Dell and stuff, and it was really difficult to compete with those guys, but they've obviously stuck around. So they
I
got
didn't
that
even
going
know
for
they
them.
were. Yeah, I didn't even know they were around before their cameras.
They used to make thin client computers. That was their main like draw. They would make, instead of spending $400 or $500 on a desktop, you could spend like 125 for like Windows XP embedded, and you would host all of your actual operating systems on like a VMware backend, and the Wise thin client would be like easier to replace kind of thing. And in a lot of ways, it made sense, and it was supposed to be easier to maintain and stuff, and it kind of wasn't. It was hard to live up to the promises. But here's the thing: they've been around for a while. They got that going for them. This isn't like a company who we've never heard of before. Number one, okay.
Yeah.
The last thing I'm going to do is trust the security of anything, my house, my family, my pets, my property, my anything, to a company I'm not already intimate with.
I'll agree with that.
You know what I mean? Transmitted diseases come around for sloppy reasons.
Yeah, the main reason that I trusted them so quickly for the home monitoring is because I knew I could turn it off, and I didn't necessarily need it. But you're right. It's hard to compete with someone that's not been around. But in my case, being I didn't know they've been around for a long time, so that makes me feel better.
Well, and I mean, they've had cameras, watches, all these other things for at least a little while. And I don't recall any major breaches, any major security exploits, any major vulnerabilities, any major overtaking of people's infrastructure. I
Yeah.
remember like people's like baby monitoring things talking at them from people who got onto their network, but I don't think they were Wise. So if listener, if I'm wrong, um, very easy, mini PC at podnutz.com. Send me an email, tell me how I'm wrong, and tell me how Wise has messed up in the past, because I don't think they have. So that's two things they got going for them. But three, um, I hope they don't in 6 months, 8 months to a year and a half decide we're done with this, and then everything people buy is basically like
Yeah.
dead weight. So I hope if that could be a possibility, at least I hope the hardware is hackable.
Well, yes. Number one, the hardware is hackable. As far as physically, you can put a custom firmware on it. They actually have a beta firmware that released for the version 2 that allowed for RTSP, or I think it's RTSP. But the thing is, they keep going little by little, making these things bigger and bigger, and they're making vacuums. They're making lights that are really neat, like actual floor lights, ones that you put in the middle of your living room, and they're Bluetooth enabled with a Bluetooth knob.
Gotcha. Well, and I'll say they're at least fairly priced. Um, a,
Very.
a lot of other security stuff I see, especially when you go into like Costco big box store, it's literally like $400. You get like 3 or 4 IP cameras, and like a central box. But then you always have to opt into some sort of monthly fee where they
Yeah.
upload everything to the cloud, which I understand. But I don't. Those are companies I've never heard of in my life. So I like having somebody at least I recognize jumping into this game.
Yeah, and for $1.99 a month per camera, you get unlimited cloud upload and watchability anywhere, and really good motion and person detection, um, which is really neat. And they're actually messing with car, truck, and license plate detection, so that'll be even better.
Well, I'll say every day that passes, that stuff should get easier and easier and cheaper for anybody to do.
Yeah. um, I would like the idea of being able to drive down the road and have cameras like the repo guys, where they have cameras that just check every license plate. I want to just do that, just to have a history of license plates that I've been around, and then if any accident happens, I can pull up, not only the when I see the accident, it'll pull up the actual license plate. That's, a pretty far off dream, but I still think it'd be really cool to be able to detect license plates and at least log them.
Oh yeah, I absolutely agree. The reason why dash cams became so popular was because in other countries you don't have to have insurance, and insurance is done a little bit differently, and people were literally putting dash cams on to protect themselves. I have no problem with buying a cheap piece of hardware, putting it in my car, and driving down the street and having it help, in air quotes, protect me.
Oh yeah, I have one dash cam that has gotten me, that has helped me in every single one of my recent accidents, which there's been 3 in the last 4 years. All of them, none of them my fault. All of them caught on the dash cam, and all of them, the dash cam actually proved that it wasn't my fault. So yeah, that one dash cam has saved me multiple times.
Very cool. Well, let's go from a company who could be doing something right, who we kind of trust with doing stuff, to the exact opposite. And that is Western Digital. Western Digital confirms MyBook Live drives are being deleted remotely. Okay, let's take a hard drive company, a company that's really done nothing in their existence that I'm aware of except for hard drives.
Yeah.
Let's have them buy some crappy FTP/HTTP software, embed it in their device, make your drive then publicly accessible on the internet, and trust it.
Wow. I did not know about this, and wow.
Well, I mean, you might really like Domino's pizza, but would you trust them to make a pacemaker? You know what I mean? That's kind of
Yeah.
not their expertise.
Yeah. No, you're right.
And for someone to buy an external hard drive and then trust them to do internet security, public facing, public attackable, public surfaceable security correctly, especially, I believe it's at no price. You literally buy the device and it just works. So
Yeah.
it isn't like you have to ongoing pay for it, because if you were continuously paying for it, at least you would then have a clearer right to complain.
Yeah. Wow, that's completely nuts. But yeah, it's like Domino's Pizza making, you don't take a hardware company and make it a software company.
Yeah, and there was lots of beliefs that this was being taken advantage of from a like 3-year-old vulnerability. I do believe since then security researchers have said, nope, this is a complete 0-day, didn't exist before today. And then when the one person did look at their firmware update, it hasn't been updated since 2015. Now,
Wow.
old code. I'm going to try to paraphrase Steve Gibson here. Old code always has the possibility to be more secure than new code only because it's lasted. I think there is some truth to that. I'm also going to paraphrase Mad Dog. Sometimes code doesn't need to be updated if it's done right. And then sometimes neither are true, and then you have stuff like this happen.
Yeah, no, you're right. If you, dang, that's scary, especially when you buy an external hard drive. It is literally to put things on it that are important, and the fact that they're being deleted, that they're able to get, that's just nuts.
Yeah, and then one more link I have to bring up, only because we talked about it a little bit last show. We didn't go into a lot of detail last show, and that's because it is a touchy subject. 486 in the notes. We still, in 2021, have complete mental invalid internet personalities, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on podcasts, whether it's on blogs, whether it's on tech journal sites, that are completely conspiritualizing a very non-issue. Okay. This is if you look up 2021 definition of fear, uncertainty, and doubt, you would be redirected to people screaming about how Amazon is sharing your internet with your neighbors. That's not true. Not at all remotely even close to being true. Number one. Number two, if you're going to trust a company to have a secure gateway in a device that they made, there's only a few, I think, that could do it right. And it's only because of one big reason. Amazon is a company that does not want bruises. They don't want blemishes on their record. Okay. Every blemish on their record is making Jeff less rich. So they're going to be incredibly anal about the security on this thing. It's sharing its internet with other trusted devices for very specific needs. Stacy over at IoT, who I'll put it like this. She is obviously incredibly dedicated to her craft. Number one. Number two, she's also not stupid whatsoever. Personality wise, I got to speed her up. She just takes too long to say what she's saying, but she is from Texas, so I guess you'll have that. This was a good article over on Stacy on IoT, planning on rejecting Amazon Sidewalk. Do it for the right reasons. The reasons are quite literally, you don't want to partake in the Amazon ecosystem. That's the gist of it. If you don't want to partake in the Amazon ecosystem, don't have an Alexa, don't have a Dot, don't have a Fire tablet, don't have any of those things. And then you won't have to worry about these kind of things. But I thought she did a really good job of explaining the real justifiable reasons of why not to partake in this ecosystem. But she said for her own good, she has Amazon products and she's going to leave it enabled because it's not going to use a lot of bandwidth. It's not invading her privacy whatsoever. And if her internet goes down, maybe her neighbors will be able to help her out. And if her neighbor's internet goes out, maybe she can help them. Um, dare I say, it's almost a good way of doing it. And again, if you listen to Steve Gibson, he's a guy who literally picks apart protocols like a good security researcher does, and not tech journalists and not bloggers and not YouTube personalities. He's a guy who literally picks apart protocols and actually understands the sin and the act of SSL handshaking. Okay. 99% of the tech journalists and YouTubers you watch, they don't even know what a sin or an act is. Okay. So I trust experts, and the experts I know are telling me this is a very non sequitur, non issue. If you want to raise this as an issue, you literally don't understand how technology works.
Yeah, that makes sense. I like this article a lot. It's very, very good at just pointing out the reasons and saying, well, this is why. It doesn't say you're wrong. It says this is the other side of it. You know what I mean? This is why you are incorrect.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not a fan of big companies being like blindly in my network kind of thing. If I had an Amazon device and knowing what I know now, I almost wouldn't care if this thing was turned on. I granted might be interested, might run a sniffer on it, but I don't think I would get anything worthwhile out of it.
Yeah, with how easy it is to make a Wi-Fi sniffer, especially with like the ESP32s, it's not smart of a company to try to do. Now this kind of goes back to companies that pull data that they shouldn't. It's not smart because sniffers are so easy to make, and you can do so much with the data that I haven't messed with a sniffer for 10 years back in high school, but with even back then you could get almost everything. I mean, encrypted data, yes, but you can tell where it goes.
Yep. One more thing I have to mention, and this is the kind of thing, oh man, I really do have such mixed feelings about this. I'm a guy who believes if you bought a television slash DVD slash VCR combo, you're just asking for issues. You're asking for problems, because once one thing breaks, everything goes to hell in the handbasket, and you now have nothing that's worth any value, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But 487 in the notes is the kind of thing that I saw, and dang it, I would like to have one. It's by a company called QGEEM. QGEEM, I guess it's called. I already have one of their USB-C hubs. It basically just has USB-C connecting to my laptop. Then it has USB 2.0A, 3.0A, and HDMI out. And it works on almost every system I've ever plugged it into. It just works. What this is a 11 port hub from gigabit down to VGA, everything in between, and it's built into a keyboard. So quite literally, this is like a mobile hub that duplicates as a keyboard.
Okay, that's cool. That is, although there is one problem I see with it is, I actually just got a USB-C 11-in-1 with 3 monitors for this setup for my laptop. I don't know if I would want the keyboard in my drawer, because then you have to have all the wires in there too. But it is super cool.
I mean, it's kind of thing. There's some really good ideas about it. It will save desk space. It's going to be really compatible with a broad spectrum of hardware. I have no problem in believing that. There's 2 HDMI and VGA, and it has a USB C. It also has USB 3, which I believe you can also do video out from USB 3.
Yeah.
Even has stupid things like a headphone jack in it. The issue is like, what if one key on the keyboard breaks?
Yeah. No, that's true.
You know, if it comes with like 2 years warranty or something like that, I would feel incredibly better about it. I, there is something that I just have an affliction towards. I have a gadgety addiction to condensing things down into smaller, tighter packages. And I will say again, I've had really good experience with this company. I want to say I bought 2 pieces of hardware from them in the past. QGEEM. This is too much money. I want to say it's $200. Um, but it's the kind of thing I wouldn't keep my eyes on it. $100. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say Banggood. Yeah.
So maybe if it comes down, to like 60, I might pop for it.
Yeah, that's I see what I was thinking about before was putting everything through it, but using it as not so much a video. If I just used it as um, minus the video output with the SD cards, I could flash my Raspberry Pi stuff, having the USB port. Okay, now I'm kind of thinking about it. The only other problem is, I like my RGB keyboards, but this is really cool. This would be really good for my back computer.
And see, you pointed out one of the things it didn't have. If this thing had a backlit
Yep,
keyboard
I
where it
figured.
was,
Yeah,
oh man, that would be.
yeah. No, I was looking at that and I had to mention it to you. I knew you were waiting for me to.
I know, because if it had all that and the color changing backlit keyboard, I think I would have already taken the
It would
wife's
have been.
credit card and said, "I'm sorry, I didn't
Yeah,
mean to use that card."
yeah, yeah. No, I completely agree. If and that's what I like about I have a Steel series, which is not very special, but it does have the little OLED screen, and it does have a USB 2.0 pass through, which is nice. I plug my mouse into it when it needs to charge, and all that fun stuff. But having this would be, I might just build this by itself with a um, keyboard dock into it, where you have all the ports right there, but then you have what you can put whatever keyboard you want into it. I think that would be pretty neat, because people are very in particular about their keyboards, and I'm one of them.
Gotcha. Okay. I do want to bring 2 like quick back-to-back notes. One of them appears to be negative in the beginning and then starts to sway toward a little positive by the end. And then the second one starts out positive and then sways towards negative at the end. This one's from Gizmodo. The smart home isn't worth it. They basically go through their little ordeal of going from like a studio apartment, going into a real house, and then when they get to the real house, trying to figuring out it really isn't worth me to take the time to pull out all these smart light bulbs and get everything set up. Because by the time I do, I'm going to figure out I got to upgrade the hub, I got to upgrade this, I got to upgrade that to get it to work right. And I think to a degree they're right. I also think to a degree they're right in saying, why on earth would I have a smart light bulb? And why not give me a smart socket or a smart lamp? Because I don't have to replace them as often, and then just give me stupid light bulbs, and it'll be much cost inducive in the future. Um, Also, they are worrying about future upgradability and having to replace big, huge chunks and reprogram things in the meantime, which I think there's a lot of truth to. They also say to like have everything in air quotes as smart as it can be, which they say is not very smart at all, and I do agree, required something like 20 apps to be installed on their phone, which I think is a bit of a stretch from the truth, but whatever. I do think today's smart home is not even as smart as a chimp with brain damage. Um, I understand people finding usefulness in sections and in parts, but it's just,
It's not there
semi-automation.
yet. Yeah, it's automation more than anything. It's not even full automation.
Well,
It's,
and yeah, it's getting really close to full automation, but then when it does
yeah, it
become
is.
full automation, you're going to find X number of times it's going to do something that you don't want it to do because it's fully automated.
Yeah.
But then at the very end, they say, but there is light on the horizon, and that is if everyone continues to pick up on Matter. Matter is the new protocol, like moving forward is the way I'll put it. Where we have Zigbee, we have Z-Wave, we have all these other things. Matter is trying to condense all of those things into a single protocol. Now, the hope is you buy a Matter hub in the middle, and then quite literally, when you want to upgrade to a faster network, you just upgrade a dongle on the device. Hopefully, we'll come out with more smart sockets for your light bulbs instead of smart light bulbs, which will make also much easier because then it's just built into your electrical system. And with Matter, you literally just plug it into a wall and it can communicate with those things. Everybody seems to be on board with Matter. Everybody. Google, Apple, Amazon, IKEA, everybody seems to be on board with Matter. So I do think Matter has a good possibility of being, an air quote, the smart home in 2 to 3 years from now, and for it to last at least 5 years past that is what I'll say.
Yeah, it's a good. I mean, it's a very good idea because, like you said, I mean, just in my RV, I have probably 7, 8, maybe 9 different types of just protocols or types of networks, or just different things that don't all communicate. But the other thing being, I do have Home Assistant, which can connect them all. But if this Matter comes out, and it would be even easier to connect everything.
Well, and I guarantee you, when Matter is full blown, Home Assistant will definitely take advantage of it.
Oh yeah, and if not sooner, you know.
Right. And then right on its heels, we had another announcement. Aqua, AQ, Aquar, I don't know, AQARA. Pronounce it however you see fit. This is a smart home hub with extremely extensible parts, where you can easily connect it to appliances, lights, cameras, hubs, push button like sensors for like one-off kind of technology kind of thing, and it costs a lot less than all the competitors, and it says it will work with Amazon Alexa, Google Assistant, and Apple HomeKit. And I'm 99% sure it's 100% fully HomeKit accessible too. They would not commit, though, to whether or not they were going to be able to make this device Matter compatible. So that's where it like bounds off the end. Like the camera hub is $64. The wireless remote, 25 euros. Smart wall switch, 40 euros, which is around $30, I believe. Smart plug, $29. Door and window sensor, $17. Water leak sensor, $18. Vibration sensor, $19. Motion sensor, $20. Temperature and humidity sensor, $19. So it's like an extreme broad range of products. Most of them seem fairly priced. I just really hope in the future that they actually come out with Matter support, is what I'll say.
Yeah, that would be nice. I mean, what's kind of cool is that it's very inexpensive, because just a Zigbee USB dongle for my Raspberry Pi was $40. This water sensor, I've been kind of looking into a lot of different water sensors lately, because I live in an RV. I have my water, my water tank is actually in the RV, and I don't really want it to leak. It would be nice if I had a water sensor underneath there down there that would tell me if it leaked.
Right, right. And honestly, I will say, all of this hardware at least looks attractive. Um, it's just simple and plain looking, but it could look ugly, and it doesn't look ugly. So hopefully, it's the kind of thing that might gain some kind of traction.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
Okay. Is there any other topics you want to cover, Brett?
I think I'm good for now. Everything everything I have been doing has been pretty small lately, so I'll have more. I'll have more soon.
Gotcha, gotcha. We did have one email, but I will say it was from months and months and months ago. I just saw it. I had to sit down and do some research on it to give a proper answer. So I'll share it with Brett and Rich, and hopefully next show we'll be able to address it. If you want to support us, easy. Just click on the notes, patreon.com/the Show. If you want to send us an email, it's very easy, minipc@podnutz.com. If you want to join us on chat services, just let me know. Send me an email, mail at podnutz.com or minipc@podnutz.com, and we can figure out which platform is the easiest for all of us to join. Is there any party merge you have there, Brett?
Other than just I have a an Instagram that I've been posting some stuff on, so I'll have Door posted um, in the in the chat or whatever. It's just some stuff that I've been doing with mini PC and IoT stuff. So it's all stuff in my RV. So it's been fun. But that one's I think it's, what is it? 8-bit GMC, all one word. And we'll see you next time.
Very cool, very cool. Thanks everyone for downloading. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks Red, Rich, Charles, Captain Zero, everyone for coming out to the live show. We hope to talk to everyone again real soon. And I will be right back.
No rush. Okay. Well, I'm probably gonna take off.
Gotcha. Oh, it's good talk, man.
Always good. Yeah. Have a good one, bud.
Take it easy.
You too. Bye. Let's see this.
Start to do some editing. Okay, sorry about that. I had to hold down the mouse for 3 minutes. Okay. Again, starting the editing process because if I don't, who will? Trick question. Nobody. Public audio convert 123, 123. I gotta get rid of those other ones. Output, input, delete, paste, here. That's already there. Oh, I wasn't. Okay. Delete. Delete. Okay, now back to editing. At least it should be easy. Sorry about that, Red. Good catch though. Whenever it comes to like me doing math on a live show, bet your bottom dollar. I ain't kidding. Okay. I'm just going to kill the stream to get the editing done. Thank you guys for coming out. Talk to you guys later.